Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at XRP, see what's going on. Got a lot of requests for this one over the weekend, so I figure we jump right in. Quickly to note here, we're starting to see a bearish type of pennant pattern here. I'll show you more so on the macro what that looks like and why that may be an important thing to pay attention to. But also recognize too, we have a pretty significant double bottom on the larger time frames, and we bounced perfectly off that level. So there is potential that we have a nice amount of support blows too. So let's take a look at everything and make sure we understand full well what's going on. First things first, liquidation. Lower liquidation and upper, there's more to the upside than the downside when it comes to the local range. Now keep in mind, this is just the last 7 days on the left, and this kind of implies that 220 to 225 could be the next target area. However, 205 to 210, if we look here on the macro, that's the important part. More specifically, 206 to 207. So that could be that area that is retested and swept before the price is to bottom out. Keep in mind too, 207 is that number that we saw the price action bounce and for a double bottom on the macro. Let me show you what I mean by that here. First of all, let's jump out to the daily time frame and recognize that we had a previous low at 207, price recovered from there, went up to like 260 and some change. We just retest this level perfectly here. I'm not saying this is an exact double bottom, but we bottomed out twice in the same area. Simple way to understand it. So that's kind of where we're at there on the daily. The key takeaway here is we're below every single moving average. They're all kind of hanging out that 220 to 230 level. So if the price does recover, we can expect significant resistance at that range, okay? Because once more, when you have more than one moving average kind of hanging out in like one specific area, plus 0.618 fib level, there's a lot of reasons why 230 is a perfect area to consider a short if we retest that level. That would also put us in a position where this descending trend line would be getting retested too, okay? So something to kind of be mindful of there, just to know for kind of bigger term, larger time frame perspectives there, okay? So it's kind of where we're at there. Quickly to note the daily time frame too, we want to also understand the RSIs. When we take a look at this, we can recognize we're under 50 on the RSI, MFI is at 30, and then of course our RSI is continuing lower. We do have a stochastic swing to the upside. A lot of folks will attach themselves to that and think we're just going to take off from here. The problem is everything else is pointing down. If you have one thing that's good and 50 things that are bad, do you really want to attach yourself to that, that low probability, that 2% play? Is that worthwhile? Not really. Needless to say, the daily time frame looks terrible, okay? That's the easy way to understand it. 4-hour time frame, let's recognize this here. First things first, we got our descending type of channel here. We also got bearish type of rectangle pattern. These typically break to the downside, so just kind of giving you perspective. That's how a bearish rectangle, I misspoke. A bearish type of pennant pattern plays out. It's a little aggressive. We can kind of go with this here, just to kind of give you perspective on how they continue with a local retest of that 220 previous support turn resistance. Anyways, that's just kind of an observation. You don't take trades based solely on patterns, but if everything else is bearish and you see a bearish pattern combined with the bearish type of divergence on the charts, then your odds of success go higher as the price goes lower, okay? Or for the price to go lower, rather. All that said, 4-hour time frame, still very bearish here. And this is something I need to point out. Most people are like, wait a minute, we got a good money flow index. Our MFI is high on a Monday. That's a terrible sign. We had a low volume weekend. Money flow index is going to look like it's good right now because we have more money flowing in today than the previous 14 candles. Don't take trades based on that, okay? Once more, if you're reaching and you're trying to find these small little things and reasons to take long positions, it's a bad idea, okay? Shame on you for doing that. It's just bad advice if anyone ever told you to do that. The consistency here is that most things are pointing down. There's nothing here telling us we're going to go up. Hourly time frame, I'm willing to guess we're still under the cloud. We're right there at the cloud, okay? And this doesn't mean a tremendous amount. This does tell us that we're potentially shifting gears and breaking our lower high pattern, but we still haven't done that yet. Till we close above that level, we got to presume it's going to continue. So trends are your friends, folks. The macro trend is down. The short-term trend is both up and down. As you can see, that's why pennant patterns tend to play out to the downside, because they usually reject out of their point of control here locally or the local high that was retested there once a previous low. So Me personally, I would not touch this coin right now. It's not really worth taking a trade, but if you're going to statistically find success, you're going to be better off shorting than taking a long. Just don't try to take a short to 50 cents or do anything stupid like that. This coin has a lot of strength. It has a lot of people buying these dips, so there's a good chance we see a tremendous amount of support in the low $2 range, if we even see that, okay? That's kind of where we're at. All right, folks, post a playout chart on a Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I'll have that up here shortly. Join us over at Bitunix too, folks, between now and June 18th. Awesome rewards. Make sure you take advantage. They are a great exchange. And I hope that you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much again. We'll see you soon. Take care.